Hi everyone and welcome to Our Land, Our Stories, a landmark series from Nelson St Gage and IATSIS. I'm Sally Lawrence and I'm one of the lead authors for this series. Viewers are advised that the following webinar contains images, voices and names of people who may have passed away. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians for the land on which this webinar is being filmed today. I would like to acknowledge the Gubbi Gubbi or Kabi Kabi people from the Sunshine Coast area here in Queensland. I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land of which you're hearing this webinar on today. Thank you. Are you familiar with this map? This is the IATSIS map of Australia, Indigenous Australia, and it is part of the Our Land, Our Stories series. You'll find it tucked away in the back of the little red, yellow, black book, which is written by Uncle Bruce Pascoe and features as a part of this series. I strongly encourage you to use this with your students for various activities, and we refer to it often in the teacher resource book for this series for Our Land, Our Stories. You can also access the IATSIS map of Indigenous Australia online through this link. Encourage the children to scroll over the map as it highlights the different language groups, and encourage the students to find the language group for the land on which your school and community is located. If students were born overseas and have immigrated to Australia, ask them to identify the language group whose land they first arrived to Australia through. This is another activity and another way you can use this map to its full potential. Today we're going to have a look at the upper primary section of Our Land, Our Stories, and we're going to look at how this whole series connects with the various components that are part of this series. So let's dive in and take a look. So let's have a look at this series. In the upper primary part of this series, Our Land, Our Stories, you will receive a copy of the teacher's resource book, which will guide you and show you how all the components link and guide you to how this links to the Australian curriculum. You also receive a copy of the little red, yellow, black book from IATSIS, and remember in the back cover you will find the Indigenous map of Australia. You'll get 3 big books, and when I'm talking big books, I'm talking they are big books. You get 1 big book for country place, 1 for people and 1 for culture. And you can see the beautiful artwork that is on the front covers of those. Some of this artwork has never been released publicly, so we feel really honoured that IATSIS has shared these images with us for this series. In the learning cards, you get 15 learning cards, and you get 6 copies of each card so that you can use it in a small group learning activity. 5 of the cards are relating to country place, 5 relate to people, and 5 relate to culture. And we're going to use some of these today. So let's have a look at our learning journey. We're going to do an overview of Our Land, Our Stories, that upper primary series, and we're going to look at the big book, in particular the culture big book, and looking at dreaming and creation as it relates to culture for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We're going to connect this to the learning card of Gari, the creation of Fraser Island story by Annie Nene Bird. I'm going to show you how this links and supports to the Australian curriculum and how it also supports you as a professional teacher to demonstrate your professional standards for teachers 1.4 and 2.4. So let's check it out. Here you will see the big book, culture big book, that we're going to use and connect to that learning card and story, creation story that Annie Nene Bird is sharing with us about Gari. Some of you may have heard of Gari. It's Fraser Island up here in the Fraser Coast. This is the country that I grew up on, Butchulla country. You will note that this learning card, as it's a part of the upper primary series, is actually 6-fold. It's a bigger learning card with more information. The lower primary and middle primary learning cards are only 4 pages long. So we've got more information and we can go into more detail in this upper primary learning cards. So let's have a look at what is a part of the upper primary series for Our Land, Our Stories. Topics at this level focus on more complex and mature topics that fit into units of inquiry study or facilitate independent work. In the big books, there's a focus on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's connection to country, the impact of colonisation, We look at the remarkable Indigenous Australians and we invite readers to recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. In the cards here, there is a focus on the devastating impact on stolen generations, the courage of Edward Koiki Mabo, significant historical events such as the Aboriginal Tent Embassy, the Redfern and Apology speeches. We also look at stereotypes and culture through the eyes of young Indigenous writers and prominent people in the areas such as contemporary Indigenous art, Indigenous media, and about Aboriginal resistance leaders. When we look at the Culture Big Book for upper primary, we see that it is authored by Lisa Fuller. On pages 17, 18 and 19, she talks about the dreaming from an Aboriginal perspective as well as that from the Torres Strait. It's important to remember when you're working with your students not to refer to the dreaming or creation stories as myths or legends. This is seen as being disrespectful. You can see that the author makes that clear representation of Aboriginal dreaming and creation as well as the Torres Strait Islands and their perspective on dreaming and creation. They talk about before time. This is in respect to creation. Beautiful artwork here adorns these big books, and you can see an artwork here by Tommy Powell. It's just amazing. It talks about Tagai and that creation story. Remember, the learning environment here within Our Land, Our Stories is supported by the Teacher's Resource Book, Big Books, the cards and the QR codes. So let's see how they all work together. We're going to use the Teacher Resource Book here, as you can see with that beautiful red front cover for the upper primary, the Culture Big Book by Lisa Fuller, Ani Nene Bird's creation story for Gari, which is Fraser Island, and we're going to access additional resources through the QR codes that are in the Teacher Resource Book. Here is the story from Ani Nene Bird, the creation story of Gari, Fraser Island. As you look through this card, you will see that she's given an artist interpretation for you as to the meaning and making sense of the symbols that she has used in the artwork here within the card. It's a great one that will allow you to connect to visual arts as a part of the Australian curriculum, whilst you're also connecting to HASS and history. She continues to interpret her artwork and show you that meaning, as well as tell you that creation story for Gari. An absolutely stunning piece of art. Ani Nene Bird also explains that name change that occurred with Gari, from going from Fraser Island to the traditional Bachelor name Gari, similar to how Uluru had its name changed from Ayers Rock to now be called Uluru. You can see down the bottom here there's a QR code which we can click on using a device, an Apple device. Your camera function will automatically scan that and take you to IATSIS website, where you will be able to hear Ani Nene Bird tell you more about that creation story and the interpretation of her art. If you're using an Android device, you will need to download a free QR code reader to help you and enable this functionality of the series. Have a listen to the author Ani Nene Bird as she talks to you now about who she is, her connection to Bachelor country, and the art that she is sharing with you here through this creation story.
My name is Nene Bird, and I'm a Bachelor elder, a traditional owner, an artist, and a storyteller. Bachelor country covers Gari, Fraser Island, the surrounding sea, the adjacent mainland from Burrum River down past Bopple Mountain, then across to Tiwa Beach in the southeast. Then the boundary goes right around that area. This is the story of how Gari and the Bachelor people and all the plants and animals and all creatures was created. It tells us of how we lived. It tells us on the magic of what Gari holds and the meaning of Gari. It connects us up to our ancestors, and it gives us our history to pass on to all our future generations through this one painting. The layout of the Gari design is set out in 6 keys or segments. The first segment is in the middle of the design. This is the design of the messenger god. The leaves are the design of my clan, the Wannamata. And the triangles are the design of the union and connection that we have with our highest God. The next symbol is the white line right around the design itself and going into the middle of the design. And that is the design of Gari as the white spirit. That is her meaning. That's what Gari means. The next symbol is the spirit figures. They are in the key on the right hand top and the left hand top side. They are the magic that our messenger God made to remind us on how we were created. The symbols on the lower left hand and lower right hand side are the symbols of the 6 clans that the gods created.
The Teacher's Resource Book has been designed to build your cultural capability. Okay, these books provide a structure according to a conceptual framework for the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures in the Australian curriculum and that cross-curriculum priority. I wanted to create a resource that would support teachers overcome any anxiety they may hold about embedding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander perspectives. I wanted to ensure that you felt confident as you use this resource and flag any cultural protocols that would create a barrier for you to do this work. So it's an essential teaching tool. Educators learn the mechanisms and support to respectfully and effectively explore topics and themes. There's meaningful teacher instruction, and it provides a rich opportunity to deepen educators' understanding of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. There's reconciliation themes built within this teacher resource book and series as a whole. The resources have been developed so that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students see themselves, their identities, their cultures, is all reflected in the learning. And those cross-curriculum integration points, explicit links to key areas of the Australian curriculum. So we're moving away from it just being seen traditionally in English or art or HASS, and we're looking at those other key learning areas like science, math, technology, health and PE, and those areas where we can embed Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander perspectives. I really wanted to ensure that you felt supported when you were using this series, Our Land, Our Stories. So I've provided extra links and connections to resources that will help you to give that holistic perspective. It'll also enable you to scaffold that learning even further for those fast finishers or those that may need more support or more engagement through links to other resources. So let's check it out. If you have an Apple device, you simply engage the camera function on your phone and it will scan this QR code on the top of the page. It will immediately take you to the Nelson's Engage website where it will reveal these additional links and resources that support the learning particular to this card. If you have an Android device, you will need to download a free QR code reader that will enable you to access these additional resources. So let's have a look. For this card, Gari, the creation of Fraser Island, let's have a look at the activities. Remember earlier we were looking at the Culture Big Book, pages 17, 18 and 19, where it talked about the dreaming? Well, here's the teacher resource book that will walk you through that. You'll see the learning intention is clearly articulated. It encourages you to begin reading that Culture Big Book about the dreaming and looking at these teacher notes. We are then linking it, as I said, to Gari, the creation of Fraser Island, and the activities that we have accompanying that. Protocols are flagged at the start so that it ensures that you don't make any of those cultural faux pas that you may be anxious about making. The discussion points again leads you to aspects in the little red, yellow, black book from IATSIS where it talks about the dreaming as well. The learning activities are scaffolded and worked through with the students. You can see that is all supporting you to be able to embed Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island perspectives within your teaching. As mentioned, it links to this learning card from Ani Nene, and when we look at this, it helps to guide us in our teaching and learning again. The learning intention is articulated. It makes those connections through the teacher pathways, the aspects that link to this story. We flag those protocols straight up so that you removes that anxiety that you may hold about embedding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island perspectives. The discussion points gives you that holistic perspective, and then we jump into the learning activities. As you can see there, we work through a number of activities and it's scaffolded up to support the learner. An extension activity is provided for this one, and the links are back that you can access through the QR code to support you with that extension activity. And as you can see here, it all links to the Australian curriculum and key learning areas. Our Land, Our Stories supports educators to make connections to the Australian curriculum and ensure that they are embedding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island perspectives as part of that cross-curriculum priority. Our Land, Our Stories also supports teachers to demonstrate the professional standards for teachers 1.4 and 2.4. I strongly encourage you to get familiar with this resource. Take it home on the weekends, read through the big books and the learning cards, become familiar with the different aspects of it. Initially, you may use it in different ways until you can see how it is all connected and how you can relate it to the different units of work that you are using in your classroom. If you want to know more information about Our Land, Our Stories, please go to the following link or contact your Nelson Primary Sales Consultant to bring the resource out to your school so that you can look at it and touch it and feel it and see the beautiful images and stories from First Nations voices. Thank you for joining me today. We look forward to sharing more with you.